Hello there, and we are live. See ya, ladies and gentlemen. See, we've come to the transfer show. It's that time of the year, yeah, where we have to track Arsenal signings, going in, going out. We have to track all these things. And you know what? Yeah, last season, uh, no, yeah, last season, anyway, the season that just passed. Me and my friend Miss Melina, we had that show. I think in the January transfer window and in the summer too. And those were lovely times, because Miss Melina had lots of time in her hands to do lots of shows. But at this time right now, she's busy. The legal stuff going on with Our Lady here. See, no other person is welcome back to this show. A big friend of this show. See it, guys in the chat here. Miss Melina was one of the persons that helped me grow this channel. She's instrumental to me. She grew this channel for me. And I owe her a lot, So even apart from that, she loves to be here. She wants to come talk football. And she's here. Guys, I want you guys to welcome again back to Tony O'Connor TV again. Miss Melina. Miss Melina, you're welcome to the show. We can't hear you. Your volume is off.
Not a day goes by where I don't have audio issues. First things first. Secondly, it's a pleasure to be back on here. I mean, we did the January transfer window, we did last summer window, and then we did a lot of watch-alongs together as well. So that was quite fun to see the highs and the lows, especially the lows of the season where we both lost it. I'm really looking forward to this show. It's 7 a.m. in the morning right now, but I'm full of energy, full of life. And let's get the show on the road.
Yeah, sure. Miss Melina, me and you, we were this set of fans, that had lots of hope this past season for Arsenal. I watched most of your shows you did on your channel when you were running your channel, and you had lots of positive things to say about Arsenal. You had lots of positive things to say about Mikel Arteta. Our gameplay was also good at the same time too. We're playing good football. Arsenal's football was one of the best in the country,
Yes.
At least in London. We're playing quite well. Beat up all our London rivals. Won almost all our games that had to do with the derbies. Of course, the Manchester games left a bitter taste in our mouth. Miss Melina, just before we go into the transfer news, can you just pitch to us your feelings, your emotions at the end of last season?
Sure.
What happened, how Arsenal capitulated? Just take us through it. It could be a short monologue, you could rant, you could, just let your heart fly and let your heart speak.
Problem, Tony. First of all, thanks for asking that question. It's a great segue before we talk about transfers and the need for the whole thing we talk about squad depth. And the last season or so, we've been talking about squad depth so much. Now let's go back to the Europa League. We went to Europa League and we got our ass handed to us by a team that was like 6th in their own league or 9th in their own division. And to go into extra time and be humiliated in a penalty shootout, all right, a penalty shootout can go 50-50. It is what it is. And then we thought, okay, we got knocked out of Europa League, even though I wanted to win both Europa League and Premier League, right? There were some fans that said we got knocked out of Europa League to focus on, winning the Premier League. I felt that Liverpool game at Anfield where we were 2-0 up and capitulated when we could have won that game. It's the poor substitutions, the lack of timing for substitutions, late substitutions, complacency, and a lack of in-game management costed us that Anfield game. All right, fine, it's Anfield. We haven't won there in a while. Let's move on. We go to West Ham, and I can't recognize my team. You know that Drogba meme, Tony, where Drogba says, I can no longer recognize my club? That was me at the end of the season.
That meme,
All right. And then we go to West Ham, And
Mm.
I hate to say this, but that Saka penalty miss really changed the game for us.
It changed
If
everything,
we
man.
had bagged that, this would be a different conversation, right?
Exactly.
Um, all right, West Ham again. The score line haunts us. 2-0 up.
Yeah.
Capitulate to West Ham. West Ham,
Oh,
and it's like these are games we should be comfortably winning, and not like if
mhm.
we're 2-0 up, keep scoring goals. We are the root of our own downfall because we had so many
Yeah.
chances, and if we're not taking our chances, then we're gonna get punished, and that's exactly what happened. Okay, roll on Southampton. Southampton was one of the most embarrassing performances, and the Brighton at home that I've seen,
Uh-huh.
because
Yeah.
it felt like the team switched off. We had no momentum.
Mm.
Again, Saka is not dropped. No player should be exempt from being dropped. I understand
Mm.
he's a star boy. He's one of our most prized possessions, prized assets.
Yeah.
But he should have been dropped. It was more than 2 or 3 fixtures. He was non-existent in the game.
Yeah.
Trossard could have came on. We could have made changes. And there was one of the games. Oh, Anfield. Arteta brings on Kiwiar for his debut Premier League match at Anfield. Are
Yes.
you kidding me? We had Smith Rowe available. We had Tierney available, and we the
Mm.
lack of substitutions or making the right substitutions at the right time costed us. I felt like we got too complacent in being top of
Yeah.
the league for too long, that we forgot how to score goals. And there was that one game, I think it was Southampton. It was a last minute chance, and Thomas Partey, we knew he wasn't going to score that. It was like a 20-yard out free kick, and it just went right into my backyard at this point, because
Yeah.
that's how
Yeah.
embarrassing we were with some of our chances.
That very
Honestly,
big backyard of yours.
Tony, I was really deflated this season with the way the
Mm.
season ended. I was really disappointed at first,
Yeah.
but to go when you say it in a see, this is the thing, I don't like to sugarcoat things, and I guess when you look at it into a perspective, we tried to take City toe to toe, but I don't think we did, because we actually let them have 2 months of nothing, right? We didn't even take them to the end, to the final day. And you know what is
To
what
the
hurts the
wire,
most?
right?
I went to
Mm.
that Nottingham, who was it, Nottingham Forest, that game, the
Nottingham
final game
Forest
of the
game.
season, and Brentford beat Man City. If it had came down to that match, we would still be celebrating this league title, right?
The league
But
title.
Man City, congratulations! I see on a Masoje in the chat, of course. They
Yeah.
won the
Onome's
treble.
brimming with confidence. Yeah, exactly.
They won the treble, and I can't even say we gave City a toe to toe, head to head competition, because we
Head to
didn't.
head.
I felt
Yeah.
like we didn't. We did improve a lot, but I still think there are areas that we need to work in. It felt like this season at home we were good. No, the other way around. Away we were all right, and at home we were losing games that we should have been winning comfortably.
Yeah.
And then the bagsman that we were supposed to have in Jesus, we struggled when he got injured. And Ketia filled in the boots. And then when Jesus came back, again, Jesus is more of a winger, not a striker. I just felt like we weren't playing him in his respective position. And then we lost to Liba and Tomiyasu in that same Europa League game. And then
In
you're
that same,
playing Rob
and even
Holding.
see, Tomiyasu doesn't come back until December.
Yeah.
Miss Melina, we have a big problem at Arsenal,
Yeah.
and this is it. If we don't recognize, if we don't see, the first part of diagnosing a problem, yeah, is to understand that you have a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
Tomiyasu doesn't come back until December. But Miss Melina, that's until
That's
almost the
huge.
January transfer window.
Yeah.
And this is a big problem. If we don't recognize that we have problems in problem areas, we're going to be in big trouble. And Miss Melina,
Again. Yeah.
I'm not seeing a lot of movement in the transfer window. Miss Melina, let me take you through what we
Sure, no
talked about
problem.
and where I see that there's a problem with Arsenal here, yeah? Where we shot ourselves in the foot, Miss Melina, was in two places last season. Yeah. When the January transfer window came up, that was where we dropped the ball. People forget this. We didn't lose that title on the field. We actually lost it off field. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the January transfer window that I knew we blew things over the water. We handed the title over to Manchester City the moment we did not recruit players into the problem areas that we had at the football club. Miss
Yeah.
Melina, we had the chance of going to Germany and bringing in Ivan Indika. He agreed to actually come to Arsenal. At the last minute, we dropped the ball. We brought in Kivio, who is kind of inexperienced, came from Spezia, and Miss Melina will get into that later on, is being watched by Napoli and he wants to go back to Italy. Can you imagine? Miss Melina, we brought in Trossard, which was a good signing.
Yes.
Even you admit to
I
that,
agree
yeah?
100%. Yes.
Trossard came in, tap, tap, boom, got a couple of goals for us, got a couple of good displays, had man of the month in the month of March, and Miss Melina, he couldn't start a game in April of the same year, of the same season. Miss Melina, grand mismanagement of our footballers we had at the football
Yeah.
club, also professionally by Mikel Arteta, was also a problem last season, Miss Melina. Also, we had this problem with the striker, Nketiah in the room, yeah, as they say. This man here wasn't even in the palo. I didn't see him anywhere.
Oh
Nketiah in
God,
the
Tony.
room. This guy was not even in the parlor, Miss Melina. He wasn't even in the building. I didn't see him in the 18-yard box, Miss Melina. We needed signings to come in and give us a boost, give us that, that shift that we really did
Yeah.
need at that time. Even Alex Ferguson understood the tricks to this. There was a time in here to win the title. He looked into the January transfer window. Do you know who he brought? Henrik Larsson. He brought in Eric Larson. Eric Larson came in, tap, tap, boom, got
Bagsman.
a couple of goals, one match to
Yeah.
United the title. So why couldn't we go into the market, bring someone like Vlahovic, bring someone, like just bring someone, an experienced striker that will come in and just score goals
No,
for
the
us.
worst part was
Stop the
it
ball
was
right there, Miss Melina. And that Southampton game left a bitter taste in my mouth,
yeah.
Miss Melina. 30 seconds into that game, we conceded a goal. It was shocking,
Yeah.
absolutely out of this world, Miss Melina. You
I
wanted to
agree
say something?
100%. I was saying like I can't remember now. But the Southampton game is where I felt like even then I think I still said, okay, maybe we have a chance, maybe we have a chance. But then again it kept getting worse. And then when it came to the Brighton game, I was like, wow, like we're getting outplayed here. Not even in midfield, just everywhere. Defensively we were poor. And then this is what I was saying, like when Saliba and Tomiyasu both got injured in the same game, instead
Mm,
of changing Ben White to center back and making the
mm,
changes that way, we resorted to play Rob Holding. And I understand Rob Holding like was okay in the Crystal Palace match way before, but when Rob Holding plays, our defensive line, Tony, is held back so low that Gabriel Magalhaes is now having to do a two-man's job
a
because
two-man's
of the
job, yeah?
inexperience and like lack of facilities from my man Rob Holding.
Exactly.
And I think a lot
Exactly.
of that, like our defense was
And
easy to get
Zinchenko is out
rinsed
there in
into.
Ukraine. Is in Ukraine, right in the front. He doesn't defend. He doesn't come back to defend. Doesn't come back to help Magalesh. The guy's in trouble.
And then like the Kiwi are like I think he still needs experience, and I think it's just we lack the experience in some players, and this goes again back to that January window where we could have signed experienced players. And yes, Trossard was a great signing. I think
Yeah.
the Kiwi are, and maybe even the when we brought in Vieira, I just don't think he's ready yet for the
But
physicality of
look,
the Premier
look
League.
at this scenario, Miss Melina. Yeah, is it that we don't know how to use the players? I saw Kivio in the game against
Poland,
Germany and
yeah,
Poland. This guy was a centurion. This guy's a
yeah,
matador. Yeah, a beast, a defensive wall. Is a brick wall. Yeah, this guy. and he scores the winning goal against Germany.
Yeah.
Miss Melina, I want to know the problem. Is it that we don't have a world class coach who knows how to use these players? Or is it that when they come to Arsenal, there's a mental block that these players kind of just have? Because the player I saw, Kivior, in the
He
international
was good.
matchup just a couple of days ago, was a beast. And the one I saw at Arsenal was the one that, went down to lace his boots when an attack was coming in. Miss Melina, see, the disparity in how they play for Arsenal and how these guys play, even in other clubs and for their international.
Yeah.
In their international settings are two different things. Does it have to do with the mentality, or like, take me through this before we go into the transfer window?
Honestly, I think it's both. The fact that we're not playing players in their respective positions. And I think we had this
Mm,
problem when Sambi Lokanga was still with us, for example. And the other thing is that mentality block. When it comes to the Premier League, it's a whole different style of play and also different pace. It's not like international
mm.
duty where you have more space in international rather than the Prem. I think it's a bit of both, to be honest, Tony.
Yeah, yeah, because it just seems like when they come to Arsenal to play, like they drop the ball, they forget they forget their international centurions, and I don't know, kind of like a mental block kind of a thing going on.
Yeah.
Miss Melina, the transfer show is in full effect. This is your wheelhouse. You're going to give us one or two tidbits. You see, yeah? I know you got connections to the club. My friend got connect, yeah? This lady got connect. You're going to give us,
That's
those
not true.
info that you know. See, Miss Melina, the first one that made me jaw drop my mouth, yeah, this week, my jaws dropped to the floor, was when I saw that Arsenal, yeah, let's keep that rice deal for the last, yeah, was when I saw that Arsenal was going for Kai Havertz. Someone that last season have just scored 7 goals for Chelsea Football Club. They won appearances, Miss Melina. His assist dried up. This guy has nothing to offer to Arsenal. And I'm not speaking for Arsenal fans, but I can tell you, Miss Melina, I was on Twitter, I was on Instagram, I was on Facebook. I sampled almost every social media metric that I could find on that news. And Miss Melina, most Arsenal fans are on meltdown. They don't want this
Yeah.
guy anywhere near the N24. They don't want this guy anywhere near the square perimeter of London Coney. They don't want to see this guy. He is the last person they want to see. But Miss Melina, there's also a caveat down here, yeah? Couple of days ago, Pep Guardiola uh kind of like is recruiting or has recruited Kovacic from Chelsea. He's shameless. Kovacic is not a player that I want at Arsenal. But if Pep Guardiola is seeing something great in Kovacic and is bringing him in to the football club, mm, maybe something is going on here that we don't understand. Miss Melina, can you look at this Kai Havertz, Arsenal going for Kai Havertz? Can you compare it to that of Pep Guardiola bringing in Kovacic to come and play for them? Because both players to me are shitty. Both players to me will not have space at Arsenal. Miss Melina, take it off
So
from us.
this is
I
what I
have
have
it.
to say, and it might shock you, but see, this is I have a problem with this, but I also don't in a way. And it's the thing is, I actually don't mind the signing of Kai Havertz. Now let me just put a disclaimer on this.
Wow.
Let me
Miss
just put a
Melina
disclaimer on
stirring the
this.
pot. She's cooking, guys.
Um,
She's
so the
cooking.
reason the reason I'm putting a disclaimer on this is
Hmm.
Havertz is not coming to play the Xhaka role because that's what
Yeah.
Declan Rice is going to be signed for, right? So
Yeah.
if Havertz playing up front for Jesus to play out wide, Jesus is going to be
Hmm.
on the bench because Saka and Martinelli
Hmm.
are the better wingers. If Havertz doesn't know his best position and Arteta doesn't know his best position, who's going to figure that out? Because at Chelsea, I don't think
Good
Havertz was
question.
played in his right position. And if a player doesn't know their right position to begin with, that's a red flag. That's a problem, right? So I don't mind the signing if we knew and if he knew himself what his
Mm,
respective position is. Now, this is just a side note. Ben Jacobs mentioned that it wasn't actually Kai Havertz pushing the move to Arsenal. And I know he's also
mm,
linked to Bayern Munich, but it's actually Chelsea trying to offload him. And the worst part of this
yeah.
is Arsenal are offering him 200K a week. Now, in my opinion, I feel that Pepe is
Oh my
better than
God.
Havertz. Pepe, Nicola Pepe, the one we're trying to get rid of on a termination of contract. I think he would do better than Havertz. Now, with that being said, Havertz for Germany is a lot different than Havertz for Chelsea, especially last season. I think a lot of people are, very much so against this signing because at Chelsea he hasn't been played to his strengths, and we don't even know what his strengths are to play him to that, right? I just don't understand
You
why.
need to know what his strengths are before you can
Yeah,
even recruit him.
and and
I
now
don't
I'm
see any sense in
hearing
this signing.
so people are trying to say we're trying to play him in the number 8 role, and I'm like, I don't understand how that's going to work. So yesterday news came out that Arsenal bidded 55 million and 55 million got rejected, okay? Like a lot of people were happy that it got rejected. But now this morning news came out that Arsenal will go in for a new and improved offer, which would probably mean we'd play around 60 to 65 million. Now, this is my disclaimer here. I would rather
Mm,
have Mason Mount than Kai Havertz. I think Mason Mount would suit Arsenal's system, but I'm also not saying no to Havertz. I just don't understand where he would play. Like in the number 8 role, I can't see him fitting that position. I just don't get it. I don't see the game plan from what Arteta's trying to do. Now, this is what I also saw, and I know we're gonna discuss this further. Would you be
mm.
less disappointed, Tony, if it was Lavia, Declan Rice, and Havertz?
Miss
Or is there
Melina,
no
yeah.
two ways
See,
about it?
Miss Melina, see, I'm tired with Arsenal's transfer strategy.
Yeah.
Lavia just came into the picture, and we're running with that news. Yeah, we're running with
Yeah,
that.
we were
We don't
supposed to
know
get
if Arsenal
Casado.
have concrete. We don't know if Arsenal have concrete understanding of that guy, or even have concrete interest in signing this guy.
Yeah,
We
it's
don't
true.
know. It just filtered
It's
through the
just
news, and
interest
we
FC.
taking it hook, line, and sinker. We don't even know if this guy even likes Arsenal, if Arsenal even like the player, like the profile of the player. It
Yeah,
just came out on the news, and we're running with it. And this has become a very, very big problem. Miss Melina, the plan was very simple. The plan for the strategy for this transfer window was very simple. And I'm sorry, we've dropped the ball already, even before the
yeah.
market has even started. The plan was simple: get in Declan Rice and get in Saicedo. Shore up the midfield.
It was
I'm
supposed to
sorry
be a
about
Rice
this.
Sado
I know you won't
midfield.
be happy with this. Granit Xhaka would be on his way out of the football club. I know you have a very close affiliation with him, an affinity towards this guy, yeah. But he was supposed to leave the club at the end of the season. We said our goodbyes at the end, at the last game of the season, to him, and he was to leave the football club. Good and okay. We were supposed to bring in a Saicedo into the picture. Miss
Yeah.
Melina, we've dropped that ball as we speak. We've dropped that ball. Chelsea have gazumped that deal, given this guy what he needed, and this guy came out and said, "I want to play for Arsenal Football Club. I want to even play in the Champions League." But we've dropped that ball, and now we're bickering with the Declan Rice issue, and also right now we've thrown in another fish into the pond again with this Lavia thing, going on. Yeah, is it Latvia or Lavia, Miss Melina? I don't know. It's become and Miss Melina, see, yeah, and even this Kai Havertz. This is a guy that's lost his identity of
Yeah.
football.
Oh
He
my
doesn't
god.
really know if it's a supporting striker, if it's a winger. See, he's played everywhere. Judge G in the charts have made this as clear as it can be. This guy has played everywhere around the pitch, apart from the goalkeeping position. He's been used up everywhere. He's lost his taste. He's lost his identity. We don't know how potent he is as a striker. We don't even know if he can come in that eighth position. We don't even know if he can even be a very, very good backup to Martin Odegaard. This signing reeks of senselessness and ill-timed decision making from
I
the
don't even
board.
think he could lace Martin Odegaard's boots, if we're being honest.
At
There's no.
all, at all. I even think Trossard is even better than this guy.
Yeah, and why is Trossard? This is what we discussed before. Is when Trossard should be getting starting minutes, starting game time, and we have Trossard. Why? And we have Smith Rowe too. Why do we need Havertz?
Mm,
And the whole Raicedo
mm,
thing was supposed to happen. So January we bid 60 million, it got rejected. Chelsea went in just like a few days ago, bid 60 million, got rejected. They're
and they
asking
get
now
their
for
guy.
they're asking now for 80 million for Casado. It was 100 million before, and now they've dropped it to 80. And I think they were asking for Levy Colwell in the mix, and I think now that's not on the table anymore too. Why are Chelsea a lot better at negotiating when they don't even have Europe? And we have Champions League, we have Europe, we have the money.
We have all see,
So
we
what's
have
the
all the
excuse
big
now?
fish.
Yeah.
We have the big fish for player to come and fry, right, Miss Melina? We have the bigger fish for this guy to come and fry.
And
But
the worst part is if we had got the Raicedo midfield, our midfield would be
mhm,
set for 4 or 5 years, right? That's a solid midfield. You don't need to change. You don't need to
mm,
touch up for 4 or 5 years. So if you're taking
yeah,
Rice and Havertz in midfield, that's a midfield with Havertz. Like, yes, he's younger than Declan Rice, but I just don't see him playing in the Xhaka role. And I saw someone say that yes, he's taller than Xhaka, and we needed someone like with height, but he doesn't
mhm.
have defensive strength or defensive attributes in him. And I just don't see how he would be a good attacking midfielder. But I don't know if
Miss
Arteta.
Melina, Miss Melina, do you subscribe to this Kai Havertz signing?
I'm in the middle. I'm 50-50. Like, I just don't see how it's going to work. So I'm going to say no.
You're gonna say no. Okay. So let it not be as if we're very unfair to this guy. We're both positive people, right? At least our mindset
Yeah,
towards
yeah,
looking
no,
at
we're
things
just
is
being
right
honest on what we want for the club.
on what we want for the football
At
club.
the end of
Miss
the day,
Melina,
like
in,
even with the whole
yeah,
Granit Xhaka leaving thing, I said like he wanted to leave, and it is what it is. Like, we have to move on. We have to keep
we have
going.
to move on. Miss
Yeah.
Melina, I want you to look. I want you to look at this from the positive side of things, yeah. So that it won't be as if maybe we're negative with the whole narrative of this Kai
No,
Havertz thing,
this is
yeah.
this is
Let's give him a
actually
fair
us
shot.
analyzing.
Yeah, exactly. So let's give him a fair shout. Miss Melina, in any alternative reality, yeah, try and fix up the technicalities of this guy. In what way will Arsenal fit him in into that team that will give us an advantage? Because we are really, really going for this guy. Arsenal, we're really going for this guy. This is not a small screen, Miss Melina. We're
Yeah,
seriously in for this guy. We're giving up 60 to 70 million for this guy. This is serious. Miss
yeah.
Melina, what advantages do you see this guy bringing to the football club if he comes in? So let's just look at it from a positive spin, if there's any positives.
I can't. Like, people are
You
gonna say
can't, right?
leadership. People are gonna say leadership. People are gonna say like the same thing we use for Jorginho: leadership, championship, Champions League mentality. But we already have that. Why do we need more of that when we're struggling to address the main area? The main area we needed is actually people who have experience in and are
Mm,
good at their positions. But if you don't know your actual
mm.
position, then how are you gonna be good at something you don't even know what your
You don't
strengths are
even
in?
know.
Like, we're going back to
Yeah.
that square one now.
Yeah, exactly. Miss Melina, Arsenal, in the transfer window, yeah. When we lost out on Saicedo, news filtering through the club is that Arsenal is in for Lafia,
Yeah.
who plays in that midfield for Southampton. We all know that Southampton have been relegated from the Premier League. What Arsenal's see? There's a fantasy. There's a kind of fetish I'm seeing with Arsenal. There's a big fetish here, yeah, with Arsenal flirting with with relegation with
Yeah,
relegated
because
players.
we're
The
cheap.
first was Castilla, right? We'll still talk about this. There's this fetish with relegated players, yeah, and Arsenal, yeah.
We have the money of
That news
Harrods
came
and
filtering
shopping
through.
at
I don't know where
Poundland.
that news is right now. Miss Melina, news filtering through is that Arsenal are flirting with Lavia. Miss Melina, what can you say about Lavia? The news report that brought that Lavia news to the fray said that Mikel Arteta has an eye or a view for a player that will tick in that midfield, that will make it more combative. That was the language that was used in that report. That it wanted to be more competitive, more combative. And last season, Mikel Arteta felt that Arsenal were being bullied in the middle of the park. Miss Melina, if Arsenal were in for this guy, what do you think are the technicalities for signing this guy? What have you seen about this guy that could make you feel like this guy is good enough for Arsenal Football Club?
I think he's the real deal. I think it would be a great player. He's young as well. I haven't seen a price tag yet. Is it 40 to 45 million? I mean, the price tag seems good because they got relegated, and hopefully we would be able to negotiate that to a lot lower. I think
Mm.
Man City had first refusal, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if Onoma Soje is still in the chat. Um, but I would rather have had Declan Rice and Casado instead. Casado seems like more prominent and someone who can
More,
seem like he
yeah.
offers more. We've seen more from Casado than what I've seen of Lavia. Um, and 45 million for a 19-year-old in a relegated team, that's a lot of money for a team that just got relegated. I doubt we would be able to do the business to get that down to 35 million. Um, Personally, I mean, I wouldn't mind it. It would be a lot better than Rice and Havertz. So I would go for Lavia. I would
You
take
go
him
for
now that we're
Lavia
losing. Now that we're losing Casado to Chelsea.
to
See,
Chelsea
even
Football
before
Club.
this window even opened, we were linked to Mohamed Kudos, who I would have taken instead of Havertz. Look, another
Mm.
player who we could have got available on the market, and we're not going for.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so so I I think Lavia like maybe he would do well in our system, but I haven't seen much of him other than a couple of Southampton games and against us to see like I just remember his performance against us. He was really good. Um, but I think people really overhyped him in the game against us, like he was
yeah.
prime Vieira or something. So he didn't even play the full 90 minutes against us. So like
Yeah, Miss
people
Melina,
gassed up Pepe over compilations before we signed him,
over
and we all thought,
compilations, yeah, and see, look at the
yeah,
mess we're in right now. We can't see Miss Melina. It's
we can't
good you
even
brought
sell
up.
him. No one wants
You
to buy him.
can't even get 1 million, Miss Melina. That's how bad it is. Yeah, we can't even get 1 million for Nicolai Pepe. That's the problem we're in right now. But see, Miss Melina, I do think, yeah, on the brighter side, that this Lavia guy, I think is okay. I think he's a decent player. He's a
Yeah,
combative kind of guy. I would take Onana before him because Onana offers more aerially because he's quite tall. I'm talking of Onana. He's a taller guy. He controls the ball more. He controls his space more. He has a keen eye for a pass, and he could drift in and out. He's more of a combative box to box kind of guy. Yeah, Lavi is a more stiffer kind of guy. Is that kind of guy that you could tell, hey, I needed to just parade this perimeter, yeah, just
yeah,
this area, and he will be that kind of guy that would just be immobile around that area. So he's not really like a movable object. He's not someone that could multitask in a way. It's just that kind of guy you would just say, hey, stay down there and do a job, and he'll do that job. And again, he's a young kind of guy. So I've not really seen his versatility in any way, but I do know he's a stronger kind of guy. Is that kind of guy that could outmuscle players. Almost the same thing that Caicedo could do in the middle of the park.
yeah,
Caicedo can outmuscle people, simple. If you want him to be a combative kind of guy, he can do that. If you want him to move and drift in and about the 18-yard box and come back to help shore up the midfield, just to cover up the defensive side of play, he can do that. He's that kind of guy. He has it in his wheelhouse. But I'm not so sure that Lavia actually got that skill set to actually be a very, very mobile kind of player. I see him as a very strict kind of player. Like he doesn't drift in and about. He's always static. He can do a static job, but not that kind of job that gets him to move in and about, or parade the whole perimeter and cover it up. And he's neither versatile too. So, but I don't know, Miss Melina. It's just one of those people that were linked to it that's kind of cool. You can't totally shut it down. Yeah, at least it's better than looking at nothing at this point. Miss Melina, aren't you looking at Madison in any way?
Oh, that
Because
would have
Miss
been
Melina, James Madison,
very
can't
cheap.
Arsenal go and gazump that deal?
It looks like he's on his way to Newcastle from what I've seen. And again, that's another player we could have got for cheap. We were linked to in the past. And we've missed out on. And we're Arsenal. We can offer him Champions League football. We can probably pay him more wages if needed. And it would have been a backup signing to have, a great coverage to have, and someone who's a great player. I think Newcastle are gonna get their hands on a good signing, a really good signing.
Yeah, Miss Melina, the assembled say something here, and I also want you to key into it. Yeah, it says the assembled say here. He said Kai could actually play that, and of course the assembled is in the building. The assembled is in the building. Arsenal Forever is in the building. Snoop G Arsenal Forever is in the building. Miss Melina, can you tackle that question?
Kai Havertz could actually play in Xhaka's position. He also has the added bonus of his height and composure. From my understanding, I thought Declan Rice was being signed to play in the Xhaka role. And it seems like from what I read yesterday, people are saying that Kai Havertz, well, this was just a thread I read, that Havertz would be signed to play in the number 8 role. I just don't see how it's going to work either way. I mean, if we sign him, we're just going to have to see what Arteta does. I think maybe they're going to have him drop into center forward, false 9 for periods of a game, or start up false 9 to be rotating for Jesus. But can you imagine the amount of chances between Jesus and Havertz being missed on the pitch? And we have Smith Rowe or Trossard who could play false 9, and Trossard has done it for Brighton. See, that's what I don't get.
We have good players around that area, yeah?
Yeah. Oh no, man.
Yeah, we have players around there. Arsenal Forever says Mount and Havertz are both crap. Miss Melina, Miss Melina, these guys don't play, yeah. See, this set of fans, they don't play. Yeah. Mount and Havertz are both crap. And Miss Melina, can you, in any reality, alternative reality, can you dispute this? You can't dispute this, because Chelsea as a football club ended up in 11th to 12th this season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Tommy C. Osabi is in the show down here. And Tommy C. Osabi says here, Mel, come on. Havertz is not good enough. Miss Melina, don't allow Tommy C. Osabi don't allow this guy get on you, yeah. He's equal to the task. Snoop Gigi said Ozil 0.2. Yeah, and yay, Princess Adora says, well done, guys. Well done. Love to you, Princess Adora. Love to you. Snoop GGG says here, Thomason, your comments would be seen until they've moved on to Saicedo or Rice transfer talk. Son, slow. See, guys, yeah, when you're doing lots of the talking and, it's not easy to just move around the charts, but I'll try as much as possible to do that. Even Miss Melina likes the charts. Thomas Yosabe says, yep, Edu and Arteta both need to go. See, Miss Melina, Thomas Yosabe is saying something here. And do you think this makes any sense in any way? I'm talking from the position of a presenter here. Do you think it's time to call for the heads of Edu and Arteta? I just need to know from you.
For Arteta, I'm gonna
Marcus.
say if the
Should we
board
be
don't
calling
give,
for them? The boat need to go.
I think it's too soon. I think it's no. I don't think so. I think that's very rational. The window has just been what 14, 3 days of the window, and you're already calling for both their heads. Also, Edu is not the only one in the board, Tony. I'm not Thomason. I'm not sure if you know that. And the last thing is, if Arteta's not given the resources and the first team targets, the first priority targets that he is looking for, then that's a concern. That's an issue because now he's not getting his main plan A targets, just like the last window. Our plan A targets we missed out on for plan Bs, right? And the only reason we got Trossard was because he fell out at Brighton, and that was something, an opportunity available. We snatched, right? It wasn't something that Arteta said, "Give me Trossard." We wanted other players, we couldn't get them. I just feel like if Arteta's not given the players that he actually wants from the board, because KSC Kroenke has given the money. I don't think Kroenke is not giving the money. We've been given the money. We even have the money from being the Mudryk deal, the 90 million. Like, where has that magically disappeared?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. We have that money in the kitty. We have it in the
And
kitty.
Balogun, like we're trying to sell him. We can sell Balogun. We have some players we can offload, and we can sell, but we've struggled to sell players for a packet of crisps, and that's another problem with the board. So I understand Thomason's reservations with the board, not from just this window, but from several transfer windows where we've missed
From
out on
several
top tier
transfer windows.
targets. So
But
I
Miss
hear him
Melina,
on that.
we have Balogun. We heard that Napoli are interested in Balogun
And Inter
this
Milan.
season. Why not give Napoli Balogun and get Osimhen? At least it would take 50 million out of the chunk of that money, and we could give them 90 million or 80 million or 70 or something like that.
Victor Osman would be an insane bagsman in our team.
He'll be
He would
insane.
be
I do
incredible.
like that player. I don't know why we're not. We have all these guys lingering about on loan, helping other teams, and we can't use them to trade. It doesn't make sense to me, Miss Melina. Tomisio Sabia says, they assembled. We are not winning anything with Arteta. Let's be honest. We will finish fourth and win nothing again. Miss Melina, do you subscribe to what Tomisio Sabia has just said here?
That we're not going to win anything. I hope not. But if we don't win anything this season, then Arteta should walk. Because at that point, that's not acceptable.
Because Miss Melina, again, I don't think that Tommy is wrong in any way. This season,
No.
you know how me and you both felt
Even
about
this
this season.
season,
We felt so
we
positive
failed.
about this past season.
Yeah.
The way we capitulated, and again, it called to question Mikel Arteta's nuance, his skill set, his professional experience in these areas to get to help Arsenal in any way. It was completely shattered. It was laid bare for Arsenal fans to see his lack of professional experience. Both tactics and everything. Late substitutions, its changes were bereft of ideas. But again, you can also attribute those losses to the board itself. The board didn't even get him the players that he needed in the first place. So, you can attribute all these problems to different people, and they don't seem to take responsibility at the same time. The assembled said something here. Tommy saying, I didn't want Arteta when he said he could make Xhaka a better player when he was leaving. He then offered Mustafi a new contract, then turned down. Oh my God. See, Miss Melina, let's move into our next topic right now. And it's the topic of Declan Rice.
Hey.
Miss Melina, Wilson Uwene is here. Within when it's in the house, guys. It says laughing out
You're
loud, Tony,
welcome.
flirting fetish with the relegation club. Blimey. See, guys, see, Wilson, man, Arsenal is flirting with, we have a fetish for these relegation guys, yeah, that have gone down, yeah. I don't know what's our fetish with these guys. Castania, yeah, a guy that has gone down the rabbit hole. We just want to go get this guy, yeah, and we feel that this guy will show our back four. I'm sorry, I don't think so. This Lavia guy down the rabbit hole with Southampton, I'm not sure these guys have
Like
the propensity to actually shore up the Arsenal defense or midfield alike. But again, who am I to question this things? Mikel Arteta and Edu Nomad are not. So let's see what they're gonna do. Miss Melina, we go into that big topic, yeah, and I want you to tap into your roots and your connect, at Arsenal Football Club. Miss Melina, tell me, what do you know about what's going on with this Declan Rice issue? And just give us a long speech on what you think about Declan Rice himself as a player, what you think he will bring to the table, and what you're hearing from your sources here and there about Declan Rice.
First of all, Declan Rice, we have Jollof at home, so I'm looking forward for him to sign first things first. Very experienced players. I think one of the most top one of the I guess the most valued transfer targets this window in the Premier League at least, and a winner. Won something with West Ham this season. Of course, we can't say the same thing. But bringing
Yeah,
Declan Rice into our midfield is not enough. Yes, it's a great upgrade and a massive upgrade from Xhaka, someone who has pace, someone who has leadership, someone who has ability on and off the ball, and someone who knows the game well for club and country. From what I heard, the first bid was rejected, as you guys know. The second bid, I heard 91 million plus 10 in add-ons and bonuses if achieved, and the player wants to stay in London, hence the Man City interest. Man City were actually looking, according to Team
yeah,
News and Tricks, who is my go-to for all Arsenal news, someone who's been reliable since Sol Campbell days, and someone who's all never been wrong. So I really take his word for gospel. And Arsenal
mm,
submitted a 91 million plus 10 million bid, as reported yesterday. We haven't heard anything back. Now it's the weekend. I don't think we would hear anything back, but it's looking like it's going to be 100 million with add-ons included. Just maybe just a bit over 100 million with add-ons included. With that being said, I think it's going to be, this is just my personal opinion now, I think it's
yeah,
not going to be announced until after the international break is over and after he's done his holiday. The same way we announced Jesus when Jesus was finished international duty and finished his holiday, then we announced him. But bringing Declan Rice into this
Miss
club,
Melina, I'm sorry, I want to come in there.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
what's
I want
up?
to come in there.
No
Miss
problem.
Melina, see, the way Arsenal do these deals, yeah.
Delaying.
Sometimes I want to pull my hair off. Guys, yeah. Amy Baba has come in to the show. You're not
Hi.
supposed to Mikel Arteta is in the show. These guys, yeah. The Gunners are in the house. Amy Baba is in the house. Yeah. Slice is in the house. Slice X is in the house. MUFC Global is in the house. See, yeah, the top guns are in the house. Yeah. See, they will be spraying the bullets in the charts very, very soon. We'll soon see bullets everywhere. Bullet holes, Miss Melina. I hope you're ready. Yeah. Sportsy Mikel Arteta, Amy Baba, all these guys. Yeah. They bring in the heat. They bring the heat. See, Miss Melina, why is it that with Arsenal's transfer strategy, we haggle a lot? Look at Liverpool. We need McAllister. Tap, boom. They've gotten this guy even before the transfer window slam open. These guys have gone into the market,
Yeah.
identified the player they want. Miss Melina, they brought him to the Liverpool faithfuls even before the window slammed open.
While he
They
was
didn't
still
wait for
playing for Brighton.
after this international after Miss Melina. It's ah. It's heartbreaking to see our club just do business this way. It gives other rival, and it seems that we haven't learned a bit about modern day transfer dealings. It's true. You need to study the opposition, understand how
Yeah.
other people do business. Look at Chelsea. They came in for Caicedo, tap, tap. But see, these guys don't waste time. They go in, the snipe. Immediately they come out after sniping. Yeah, they get their man and they're out. Yeah. All this talk about Caicedo since last January, this guy's going to the
We
market, tap,
still
tap,
haven't learned.
and we even paying the same amount of money that we refused to pay in January. That's what
Yeah,
Chelsea
that's
would actually
crazy.
do. This, see, Miss Wendy, it doesn't make financial sense. It doesn't make footballing sense. I don't get it. I'm trying to understand every bit of information that surrounding Arsenal's transfer strategy. And Miss Melina, I can't get it. I can't. Can you get it? If Liverpool is signing McAllister before the window slams open, getting their man, tap tap book Man City, cleaning this Kovacic stuff off quickly out the window. Yeah. Why does ours have to extend to the international break? Then we announce it. Miss Melina, in Nigeria, we say it's a long story. Otilo. Eh? In Nigeria, we say Otilo. Long story. What do you have to say, Miss Melina?
um
Our
I
transfer
think
strategy.
this is what I can't justify it either, but I think with Declan Rice, there's nothing to worry about. He will be an Arsenal
Hmm.
player, and I'm pretty confident on it. I know people were confident for Mudryk, and it didn't happen. Of course, we know how that story ended, and don't get me wrong, I
Yeah.
think Mudryk would be a great player long term. But going back to Declan Rice, I just feel like Declan Rice, we already knew he would sign for Arsenal since January. We had a what we had a gentleman's agreement with him, and maybe yeah, that means nothing financially when you're not putting a bid on the table. The first bid got rejected right away. We understand, like, when a club goes in, they never pay the asking price first thing unless it's a release clause or 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 such and such. But for Arsenal to go back and forth so many times, I think this bid now, the second bid, would be accepted. I don't think we would go back again after this, but that's just, again, my opinion, not something based on
Yeah.
anything I heard. Um, from what Team News said, they're pretty confident that this gets over the line and done. Now, for me, my concern is not, is it Declan Rice coming? My concern is Declan Rice and who? Declan Rice and who else? Like, what's next? Because Declan Rice
What's
should have
next?
already been done, signed, sealed, and delivered by now,
Hmm.
right? But or at least by next week. But we're not going to announce it until July. Like, until the preseason, he won't be an Arsenal player before the preseason.
Yeah.
Like, at
Yeah.
least, when we before we start that preseason, in or the Monaco Cup, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm more concerned about Declan Rice and who else are we bringing in? Because now it's okay. Declan Rice is in the final stages, gonna be wrapped up and sealed. And I know people don't trust ITKs or news related sources, because we've seen a lot where
Yeah.
we thought a player was coming, like Madison, and then bam, it didn't happen. We thought we were gonna get Tielemans, it didn't happen, and now Tielemans at Aston Villa, which is crazy. Unai Emery's doing a madness over there.
Oh my
And we're
God,
here.
Miss
We're here
Melina,
still.
every
Interest
other
FC.
player, every other team is. See, Miss Melina, I don't know if this hurts you in any way. You know, all this
It
things hurts
does.
me. I know you know how it makes me feel. I,
Yeah.
I want to
It's
just grab
frustrating.
something and
Yeah, it's very
see. All these
frustrating.
other teams are fucking flying themselves. Arsenal are just watching. Anthony Herbert says here, let's get in Madison. Let's get in Madison.
Yeah,
Walk on Rice.
Newcastle are about
Let
to
in other players at the
finalize
same time.
him.
Miss Melina, it's simple. Anthony Herbert can actually handle Arsenal's transfer dealings. It's easy. Go get in Madison, cheap. Go in, get in Declan Rice. And Miss Melina, see, I also heard, yeah, that Arsenal is actually haggling with West Ham on how
The
much
payment structure.
percentage will
Yeah.
be paid with them,
Yeah.
throughout the year in terms of like a payment plan that they want it spread abroad over 6 years. West Ham is saying, hey, we just need 2 years. And Miss Melina, this is one of their most coveted players, one of the most important players West Ham have seen in the last 10 years. This guy's that good. And he's club captain for crying out loud, Miss Melina. He just won an European title. He's a big player. Big player. And for you to tell West Ham and dictate to them how they should get their money when they know that if Man City are heard, Man City have entered the fray into this. Yeah. I'm not so sure about the whole dynamics through it because Declan Rice is a London boy, genuine London boy.
Yeah.
He likes
Yeah.
London weather. He likes the London life. He genuinely wants to be in London. So I understand this. Yeah. But Miss Melina, if Man City comes in and gazump this deal, yeah, they're paying that money once. That
Yeah.
money's going to be paid once
It's
or
nothing to
twice.
them.
And that's
Yeah.
what West Ham is asking for. Miss Melina, what do you think about this if that's the case?
I don't think that's the case. I know Man City were exploring the options of Declan Rice, but I think, as we said earlier, Declan Rice wants to stay in London, so I don't think that's a worry there. I think the what assembled or and what Tony, you were saying as well, is it's more the payment structure and how, like, they were negotiating how much money is going up front, what the payment structure is, and trying to come to a agreement on that,
Yeah.
and that's what is taking time. Declan Rice does not have a release clause, which I know for Party we just paid a release clause and activated a release clause, and that was it. But um, yeah, Arsenal can do it, but it's just a matter. I don't know, man. We always dilly dally,
Okay,
and
good. Yeah. Miss Melina, see, this person, this Man City player, yeah, Godwin. Rumors are out there that Arsenal wants to get Godwin and is looking for his next football club. Miss Melina,
oh, he would be
do you
incredible.
subscribe to us getting another 31-year-old, another pensioner? Yeah, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. Yeah,
Yeah.
do you want to see us being fed with these pensioners from other football clubs that this signings don't actually come, don't come along in a good way for Arsenal? It doesn't even work out because Arsenal doesn't have the same team dynamics mentality that these other winning teams got down there in terms of manager, in terms of gameplay. They don't have Win the Dog to play with down there. They don't feel comfortable. There's a push. But at Arsenal, we have Win the Dog right now. Players can come feel comfortable and tickle the dog whenever they like. Yeah. The mentality is not right at Arsenal right now in terms of the managerial mentality because we just blow up a title right now and blow up in our faces. Miss Melina, do you think that this Godogan that we're looking at in any way is the right signing that Arsenal should be looking at in this transfer window?
He's a good player. He's very experienced, and he is a winner. I think it would be a great signing, but I just think I don't see it happening. I just think it's more paper talk than anything else. I don't think. I also don't think City would sell to us after selling us Jesus and
Okay.
Zinchenko. I don't think they would give us any other players.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't think it would happen. I don't think City would sell us,
So
even
so even
because we
so
were
even
linked
a
to we
Mikel
were linked
Arteta
to
push. Yeah,
we were linked to Cancelo. We were linked to Gundogan, and I don't think either of those would happen this window. I just think it's more paper talk than anything else. I think with
I was
Gundogan,
just
he
about to
would.
go to this Cancelo.
Sorry, I think with Gundogan, he would either renew at Man City, which they're trying to do, or he would leave the Premier League and go elsewhere, like outside of the Prem.
And
I
go
don't think
elsewhere
he would go to another Premier League
outside of the
club.
Prem.
Yeah.
Good. Miss Melina, what about Cancelo? Where are we in that signing, yeah, Miss Melina? I heard that Arsenal was in for it, but the news have slowly been faded out, of the news. So I don't know. Does Arsenal want to do it in secret? or what's up with that signing? Because we do need a fullback who understands the versatility in that role. He can play as a left back, he can play as a right back. Even in some quarters, I've heard that this guy can even play center back. I'm sorry, just saying. Yeah. But no, at least it's a fullback. That's what I know. And he can play both right-sided fullback and can play left-sided fullback. He's that dynamic. I'm talking of Cancelo. Uh, Played in Bayern Munich. He wants to leave Manchester City. Should Arsenal be going all out for this guy in this transfer window? And do you think that's a
Cancelo.
foregone signing right now?
So because
Cancelo.
Castagni, so from the latest I heard yesterday from Romano,
Mm,
Castagni looks like he's on the way to Juventus. Juventus are interested in Castagni. Fine, perfect, have that. What's the excuse now for Arsenal not to go to for Cancelo under the table, or like, keep it hush hush first under the radar, and then deadline day announce it, or even before that announce it? Cancelo would be a good signing, offers versatility, and someone who would offer momentum in either positions. Is someone experienced and someone who's a proven winner that we need in this team. I think he would be an incredible signing, an addition to this team. I also don't think it would be a lot of money, maybe about 30, 35, 40 million. I just think because yesterday, Di Marzio also reported that Juventus were keen on Castagni, and Castagni wanted to go to Juventus. The fact that perhaps the next target we've moved on, maybe it's still even Fresneda, but I think it's Cancelo now higher up the table. I just hope Man City would be willing to sell to us if we pay the right price tag, and not, again, this goes back to haggling around and wasting time rather than paying what the club asks, instead of shopping at Poundland with trying to be
mhm.
too frugal in the market.
Poundland. Miss Melina
Yeah,
driving the screwdriver in Poundland.
it's true.
Endsman, big ups. Endsman just entered the show again. Endsman, big ups to you,
Hands,
man.
man.
Endsman, still waiting for when you're gonna come to the show one of these days. See, Miss Melina, yeah. Of course, transfer business is all about ins and outs. Players were being released from Arsenal Football Club a couple of days ago. Miss Melina, uh, one of the surprise names down there was
Ainsley.
Aintley Maitland-Niles
Yeah.
out of the football club. 19 years in this football club. No headway. We've been loaning this guy to all different places, yeah? No headway. Miss Melina, Aintley Maitland-Niles out of Arsenal Football Club. Released in a disgraceful way. We're not even getting any money from this guy.
Yeah, really, I want to say one thing about him is one of the coldest penalty takers in the entire, like,
Hmm.
in Arsenal history. This
Hmm.
guy, when he would take a penalty, you knew that shit was going in. You had no need to worry. Very composed, cool, and collected when it came to penalty taking. Game at Anfield, game
Hmm.
against Liverpool. Sorry, he had a very good game. FA Cup runs with us. He's been here for
Yeah.
since what, 6 years old or 9 years old, when he was a kid. Since he
Yeah.
was a kid, he's been with Arsenal. I wish him the
Hmm.
best. I know it. I know he really wanted to be a midfielder, um, and that's the reason, or it claims to be the reason why things didn't work out for him at Arsenal. He really wanted to be a centre midfielder, and he was loaned out lastly to Southampton. Hardly got game time there, and now we're losing him for nothing on a free. I wish him the best wherever he
Hmm.
goes. Arsenal did do a post for him yesterday and announced that he was released by the club. Very disappointing that we can't get money for any of these players. He's
Not
a
even 1 million.
youngster. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Letting go on a free, and it's a shame. It's really a shame it didn't work out for him.
Miss Melina, outgoings from the football club. I also heard that Trusty, a guy we brought in from America, I
Oh
think
yeah,
Colorado Rapids or something like
yeah.
that.
In the
Miss
January
Melina,
window.
Arsenal brought this guy into the football club, loaned him out to Birmingham. He had a very good season at Birmingham.
Yeah,
This guy was a rock. Birmingham, he won awards there, scooped up awards there, yeah. Miss Melina, strong guy, tall, a brick wall, yeah. Miss Melina, I heard that Arsenal want to shop this guy around and toss him out without this guy kicking the football
Not even
for
once for
Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Not one. Miss May, it's laughable. I don't know. Then what was the need of bringing Trusty to the Premiership? Like, was it to buy him for Birmingham? Miss Melina, I don't have any idea. Do you have any idea? Make me understand.
I think it's a brown envelope transfer. It seems like one of those sketchy brown envelope transfers. When it happened too,
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
this seems hella red flags. Like we're not even giving the guy any game time. He's going to Birmingham. He had a good season, and that's it. Like there's red flags all over this, and it just seems like
Hmm.
money laundering or something like a
Or
shady
something going
dealing.
on there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably because I don't see any reason why this guy will come in and nothing is happening. Miss Melina, the assembled says something that I want to key into, and it's this topic of Thomas Partey. News are filtering through that Arsenal want to dump this guy. I don't know how true it is, but I saw it in the transfer rumors that Arsenal might do away with Thomas Partey this season. Miss Melina, let's see what the assembled says here. It says, what I find remarkable about our transfer dealings is Partey's deal was done in 48 hours. Everyone else seems to take a couple of weeks. With this in mind, can you explain Jorginho's transfer? I'm lost, Miss Melina.
So this is what I was replying to assembled in the chat. I was saying that party was a release clause, but with this in mind, everything else seems to take a couple of weeks. With this in mind, can you explain Jorginho's transfer? Yeah, Jorginho's was really quick too. That's true. Yeah, I guess Arsenal are quick when they want it to be for certain players than others. I from Declan Rice, what we heard first was Arsenal would submit a first bid after the final. The final ended weeks ago, and we only submitted a first bid earlier this week. So that's how much Arsenal delayed until. And I don't know if it's a respect thing for other clubs, which we shouldn't have too much respect for our opponents like that, especially in a transfer window when you're trying to buy players before other clubs get their hands and snatch your targets, like Chelsea always did to us of recent. So
Hmm.
I understand and I agree with his point.
Miss Melina, see, yeah, do you think Arsenal have thrown out any bid for Declan Rice? Yeah, because it's good we should be honest about this. Personally, I'm
Yes.
thinking that maybe Arsenal have not even thrown a bid out yet. I'm sorry. This
Tony's
World Cup
got
is so
trust
funny,
issues.
yeah? We might have not thrown in any bid for this guy. Let's look at how Saicedo on just went down the drain. What we just surrendered it to Chelsea. It's funny, yeah. It's funny to decipher, but I'm beginning to think that maybe we've not even done anything yet. I'm sorry. Edu is out in Greece enjoying barbecue and smoking on a cigar in Greece. He's enjoying his time. You know, when other sporting directors are out there doing the work,
Working. Yeah.
my guy is out in Greece with cigars in his mouth, chicken and grilling and enjoying having fun. Miss Melina, I don't know what's going on. I just really pray that these guys have sent in that bid. I really pray they've sent in
No,
that bid because
I I believe they put the bid because Team News is really reliable.
hmm, okay. See ya, guys. Miss Melina says that that bid has gone in for Declan Rice, and I trust her word.
Like
And
I
let's
believe
hope
so.
let's hope Declan Rice will come at the end of the transfer window. Miss Melina, is there any other? Are you hearing of Arsenal signing any striker right now in this transfer window? Are you hearing it?
We submitted for a bid for Way. I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation. Wehi from Montpellier from France. We submitted a bid for him, and I think it was initially 20 million at first, but I'm not sure. I think Newcastle are more advanced than us, and two other clubs. I think Crystal Palace, Newcastle, and another club are more advanced.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, Miss Melina, if we're to bring in a striker to this football club, we shouldn't go for all these half-baked strikers. Yeah, enough of all these pensioners
Yeah.
and all these experiments. Yeah, prototypes. What we need are killers, assassins, people who are ready to kill for this football club. I'm talking of going, dusting the boots, dusting our checks, cutting that check all of a sudden, going for Vlahovic. How about that, Miss Melina? How about that,
Vlahovic, I don't
Vlahovic?
think we.
How
Uh,
about that? How
that's
about
uh,
that?
that's uh,
Miss Melina, how
that's
about Arturo Martinez?
Oh my
How
gosh,
about
Lautaro
that,
Martinez, he's
Miss
a
Melina?
baller.
How
I
about that?
really like
Yeah?
Lautaro, but I don't think.
Why can't we go for this, for these killers, for these matadors, for this
Oh, we
Miss
have
Melina?
Kieran Kent.
It blows my mind the way Arsenal think out the transfer strategy. Yeah,
And I'm
it's
hearing
like we're
Chelsea
just
are
deviating
going for
from
Barella
ideas.
now. I'm hearing Chelsea are considering Barella now, who's
I heard that it
incredible.
was Newcastle going for Barella from Inter Milan.
Yeah,
So
he's
I
really
think
good
it's
too.
Newcastle.
So,
He's really good too. But
um,
let's see what happens. Miss Melina, okay, yeah. Okay.
no, no, no. Go ahead.
Miss Melina, someone else is in the news, rumor mill, and it's this person, Mosa Diaby.
Diaby,
Mosa
yeah,
Diaby. Miss Melina, what do you think about Mosa Diaby? What have you heard of him?
yeah.
Do
Diaby
you
was a
think that
player we were.
Arsenal will look at him in any way?
Diaby was a player we were linked to in January. Um, but I don't think we actually were. I don't know if the interests were
Yeah,
concrete or not. Um, but nothing. There's nothing actually reported properly about him from any tier one sources. It seems like it was between us and Newcastle for the signing of Musa Diaby. Um,
yeah.
but I don't think we would have the funds for Diaby, Havertz, and Rice. Okay, unless Havertz is a smokescreen for Musa Diaby. Oh my God, Tony, we figured it out. Hopefully, that's the case. But in terms of my opinion on what I think of Diaby, I think it would be a good signing. He's only 24. He has Champions League experience. He has pace. He has skill. He has flair. He's a good finisher, and I think it would be a good option on the wings. We have Trossard as well, but I think it would be a really great signing to a great addition to that to on the wings.
On the wings. And again, Miss Melina, you also remember, yeah, even if we've come to the close of the show, uh, Bukayo Saka actually had lots of ups and downs last season. Yeah, drifting away most times in his gameplay, couldn't string passes together. There were times that his gameplay, drove down the rabbit hole too deep, and yeah, I think it really affected him. Miss Melina, I think this Musa Diaby signing will be something that Arsenal should really look at. Very, very
Yeah,
important
I
for
agree.
Bukayo Saka to have at least time to breathe.
A
What do you
rest.
think before we
Yeah, a
go, Miss?
rest. To have a good rest, and it would be a great signing. And we wouldn't lose in terms of the quality between Saka and Diaby. I think Diaby would do great, and he has Champions League experience too. We should be all over that.
Mm, we should be all over that, right? Guys, we've come to the end of the show. See, yeah, guys, Miss Melina came to bless us today. Yeah. And Miss Melina, I hope I will get to see you again, maybe in the next 2 weeks or, whenever there's a signing and, there's quite good news out there. I'm going to bring you in, and see what you think. I also have transfer shows with my brother that will be coming up on Monday, the first of those round of shows with Matt Odom of the Southern Gunner. I'm looking at bringing Jazz here on Monday too. So let's see what's going to happen. Miss Melina, please shout out yourself and, where people could find you and what upcoming projects you have, just in case there's any. And, just let us know what you think. And, yeah,
Tony,
just let us
thanks
know,
for having
Miss
me.
Melina.
It was a pleasure to be on here, and thanks for everyone tuning in the chat. I think there's some people not from the UK watching, so thanks everyone for watching wherever you're watching from, and for people who joined new. Make sure to click the red subscribe button. Subscribe to Tony Claude. He's on his road to 4K subscribers. Um, really proud. When I first joined on here, he was just making his name out here. Now he runs these streets in
Yeah,
Arsenal YouTube. I hope you continue to do well, Tony. Thank you for having me on the show.
yeah,
It was a pleasure to do Arsenal transfer news. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we're no longer interest FC and we actually get some signings under our belt for the new season. I'm really looking forward to the new season. The fixtures were announced, and hopefully, I can also come attend some games. And it was a pleasure to be on here. I do have a channel, but it's inactive. I don't think I'm gonna reignite that anytime soon. Maybe a couple of
yeah.
guest appearances here or there. But you can find me on Twitter at Miss Melina7, and I tend to do a lot of Arsenal Twitter spaces as well. Or I just talk everything Arsenal related. Thanks for having me, Tony.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Thank you, Miss Melina. I'm very, very happy that you showed up here to the show, and this is how it should look like, talking transfers with you. And I hope to bring you quite soon, maybe next week or so that we could also talk on transfers. On Sunday, me and my friend Football Bant channel will be here. Abs will be talking about football, about Arsenal, all true. So come here and join me and Abs on Sunday in the evening, 7:30 p.m. Come join us. And on Monday, come join me and Matt Odom as we talk football too, transfer news and other stuff coming up. Miss Melina, thank you very, very much. I'm happy to see you here, and I hope to see you maybe in some couple of weeks' time. And of course, we always keep contact. Yeah, big
Thank you,
ups,
Tony.
and
Take care.
everyone in the show. Big ups to everyone. I'll catch you
Bye,
soon,
everyone.
and let's hope we get those signings done. One love.